Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles, and I welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. All of you guys know that Kawhi Leonard is my favorite player in the NBA. For those of you guys that have been following this channel for some time now, you will know that, right? If you look at Kawhi Leonard's basketball game from a fundamental standpoint, you will see that he's very, very skilled. He has excellent footwork. He has a very great post game. If you watch any of his basketball highlights, you look at his footwork, you look at the way he operates on the floor, it's very reminiscent of Kobe and Jordan. If fully healthy, going into any playoff series, I would take Kawhi over and there's nobody in the NBA that I would rather have going into the playoffs than Kawhi. There's nobody. Some people can feel the type of way. I really don't give a damn. There's no one. That includes Katie, that includes Giannis, that includes Stephen Curry, that includes LeBron. I would take Kawhi over all of these guys. I would take him. Just go look at his numbers in efficiency. Go look at his numbers that he was putting up last season in the playoffs. He was shooting, I think, a higher field goal percentage than Joel Embiid, right? I mean, it was ludicrous. He was definitely the best player in the Western Conference up until he got injured, and I think him and Kevin Durant were the two best players in the playoffs up until I think this late midway through the second round, and then of course Giannis took over, and then ultimately he was the best player in the playoffs all around because he went to the NBA Finals and he did what he did, and we all know how Giannis Antetokounmpo performed. But however, one of the knocks that people have always tried to make against Kawhi Leonard is that he would not have won, because you're always going to have haters. No matter what, you're going to have haters, right? So they said that the only way Kawhi Leonard won that championship against the Golden State Warriors was because Klay Thompson was injured, right? He would have never won if Klay Thompson would have, and they always say for damn sure, he would have never won if Kevin Durant played, right? That's what they said. Well, apparently, it seems as if Draymond Green feels otherwise. And he was recently talking to Fred VanVleet, who was on that championship Toronto Raptors team. He was part of that roster, and he was huge all throughout the playoffs, and he was discussing it. And Draymond Green put out some tweets in response to the conversation that he was having with Fred VanVleet, talking about the Toronto Raptors playoff run, and they were talking about that big shot that Kawhi Leonard hit, that buzzer beater. And basically he said, this is what Draymond Green, he said he's watched that shot a million times. And he said, this shot ultimately cost me another ring. He put caused, but I think he meant cost me another ring, because if you put caused, that would make absolutely zero sense. So I think he meant to say this shot ultimately cost me another ring. Now, what cracks me up is to this day, there are people out there that still believe somehow that the only reason the Toronto Raptors won that championship is because of pure luck. Stephen A. Smith is one of these guys, right? He believes, the only reason they won is because Klay Thompson was injured. And if Klay Thompson was injured, First of all, we put up a poll recently on our channel about 24 hours ago, and we put some specific players. We put Kawhi, we put Stephen Curry, we put Kevin Durant, we put Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I asked on that poll, who do you think should be ranked highest all time? And funny enough, and I know it's part of out of sight, out of mind, right? You haven't played. It's a recency bias. There's always a recency bias on a lot of these things. People are going to gravitate to who's been the most successful, most recent, the most recent success. So I get that. But nevertheless, Kawhi Leonard came in as the lowest voter on that poll. And I was quite surprised. So help me understand something. Let's just go through this quickly. Let's go through the logic here. So a good amount of you would rank Stephen Curry higher than Kawhi Leonard, correct? If you would rank him higher, I'm going to assume that you think that Stephen Curry is a better player than Kawhi Leonard, which to me is totally absurd, but whatever. If you think that Stephen Curry is a better player than Kawhi Leonard, then help me answer me this question. Why wasn't Stephen Curry able to beat Kawhi Leonard in the NBA Finals when they went face-to-face? When they went head-up, why wasn't he able to beat him? Why wasn't he able to beat Kawhi Leonard and the Toronto Raptors? If I'm not mistaken, at that time when Klay Thompson went down and Kevin Durant was gone, the Golden State Warriors had two All-Stars, Draymond Green and Stephen Curry. Kawhi Leonard was two All-Stars. It was him and Kyle Lowry. Pascal Siakam wasn't even an All-Star. I think he was the most improved player of the year that year. So why wasn't he able to beat him? They had roughly the same amount of talent on their rosters. Why wasn't Stephen Curry able to beat him? The reason he wasn't able to beat Kawhi Leonard is a very simple answer. Because Kawhi Leonard was just better than him, period, end of story. Period, end of story. Anybody that had eyeballs that watched that series will tell you, this guy's clearly better than everybody on the basketball court. Clearly. The better guy won. The better guy led their team to a championship, and I don't even think it's really a discussion, to be honest with you. If you look at Kawhi Leonard's stats in the playoffs, he averaged in the playoffs 30.5 points per game, 1.7 steals, 4 assists, 9.1 rebounds, shot 88% from the free throw line, shot 38% from the 3-point line, shot 49% from the field for the entire playoffs, had the second most points in NBA history in the playoffs behind LeBron and Michael Jordan, led the playoffs in points, rebounds, and steals. And at the end of all of that, you were somehow convinced that what you witnessed was somehow a fluke. Now, to Draymond Green's credit, Draymond Green, who was a defensive player of the year, I think 1 or 2-time defensive player of the year, if I'm not mistaken, Draymond Green was guarding Kawhi Leonard throughout those playoffs. He was guarding him. And to Draymond's credit, he was able to slow him down a little bit. Because Kawhi, during the finals, he averaged 28.5 points per game. He got 9.8 rebounds and 4.2 assists in 6 games. So actually, he almost averaged a double-double, but his field goal shooting percentage dropped to 43%. His three-point shooting percentage dropped to 35.7%. And his free throw shooting percentage was 90%. Do those numbers seem like fluke numbers to you? But nevertheless, people will still watch this and say, hey, man, they got lucky. Thank God we have facts and people can do some research. If you do research, you'll be able to answer these questions fairly quickly. First of all, if you go back and look at that 2018-2019 season, the head-to-head matchups with the Toronto Raptors versus the Golden State Warriors, do you know that the Raptors were 2-3 against the Golden State Warriors in the regular season? Are y'all aware of that? Are you also aware of the fact that the Raptors, the only game that the Raptors lost to the Golden State Warriors, they lost it by 2 points? Are you also aware of that? Are you also aware that the first game when they beat them, Kevin Durant was on that team? Are you all aware of all of these facts? So when you say that, oh, they got lucky, I think what people are trying to reconcile in their heads is that they feel as if just because the 2016 Golden State Warriors had the best record in the NBA, they feel as if just because LeBron was able to barely beat them in 7 games, they feel like because LeBron couldn't do it, nobody else can. That's really what this is. If LeBron can't do it, no one else can do it. And that's just not the reality. That's just not the reality. Kawhi Leonard and the San Antonio Spurs were putting a beat down on the Golden State Warriors before he got injured in that playoff series when Zaza Pachulia fouled him. We act like as if we don't. They were up by 20 points. And they were the only team that was able to get a 20-point lead on that Golden State Warriors team. So what really matters is the facts, not what people are going to say. And it seems as if the person that was actually in the series playing directly against, who was a direct competitor against Kawhi, he thought that, listen, after that shot in round 2 of the Eastern Conference semifinals, we were done for. So how was Draymond Green able to come to that conclusion? How did he all of a sudden say that shot was what cost him an NBA championship when they met 2 rounds later? Why would he say that? Because he saw what was coming. He's like, this guy is going to be unstoppable. And in fact, he was. So to me, I think it's hilarious that people somehow believe that this thing was a fluke. I think the only reason that they say this is because, number one, you're a hater. Number two, you think that because LeBron couldn't do it, nobody else can do it. That's all it is, in my opinion. That's all it is. But if you go look at the facts, the Toronto Raptors were an excellent defensive team. An excellent defensive team that was well coached by Nick Nurse. This should not surprise you. He had a hell of a year. Give him his props and stop hating. So what I want to know is, what do you think about the comments that Draymond Green made? What do you think about the comments that I made? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day and catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.